Well, hello, everyone. Greetings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Step into the miraculous. Today, we are going to be talking with two of my favorite people on the planet to find out what motivates people to do the extraordinary. Like, what motivates people to step into the miraculous, to open the curtains to new way of thinking, and to really dive in that they could work like something like 144 hours or more just to bring this material out in the world. So really looking at how we can step into our own soul purpose and how we can help shift, unplug humanity, so to speak, how we can shift, activate, and awaken as we really free ourselves to do what we came here to do. And so I am Joan of Angels. I am a transformational mentor and a soul awakening coach, which means I help guide people to remembering who you are, why you're here, how to awaken to your destiny. Not my destiny, but your destiny, how you can unfold your soul-filled purpose, and even more important, how you can learn to listen and discern truth, which is more important than ever these days, how to listen to your gut, how to, make the right choices. So guys, I'm just really happy to invite you to visit my website at joanofangels.com. Get your soul-free living book. It's free and has all sorts of great goodies. All right. And also like, subscribe, and share if you don't mind, so we can grow our channel. And the last few weeks or the last year or so, I was really fortunate to meet two amazing men. I first met Omar, a projection of you, about a year ago or so on Portal to Ascension. And then I met Rob. And ever since then, I have had this ability, this connection with them. And so last weekend, I had this great opportunity to work and do an event with both of them. It's called Humanity Unplugged. It's a 12-day event, some like 8, 10, or 12 hours a day, 122 speakers. Each speaker was more profound than the last one, which really got me to think how I wanted to bring Rob and Omar up and find out, how did you come up with this? Like, who the heck are you? So we'll start with Rob. So welcome, Rob.
Thank you, Dr. Joan. I am so honored to be here. It is a privilege to be here as well. I love the work you do, and I made it. I'm here. This is awesome. And we talked about this, and you're going to come on my show too. But it's been a wild ride over the last, probably since we started was about 15 days, and it took us about 2 or 3 days to recoup before we could come out of hiding for, we did just about 12 days of actual 12-hour days that were just, it was incredible. And one of the things that we drove to do was to we have worked very closely with Stephen Evans Strong for quite a while, and when they talked about this Hopi prophecy that talks about equinoxes and how we only have a specific amount of equinoxes left before this great split happens. So we dedicated this last year to preparing people and to help give people the tools to ascend that great split, because we don't want anybody left behind. And we also feel that the information is, like Phil Gruber says, the information is the activation. And we want to make sure that everybody is prepared for this new step into a different reality that we're creating for ourselves. So I'll let Omar finish with the rest of it.
All right, hold on for a second. So you're talking about the Hopi prophecies that talked about the split in the timeline, right?
Yes, where the lower frequency people will go in one direction and create their own plane of existence, and the higher frequency people will go into a different direction. While both still on the same physical existence, they won't interact because they'll be on different etherical planes of existence.
Okay, I'm so glad you clarified that. And so you're saying that was really your motivation to start bringing this awareness. I know that Omar has an indigenous background. Do you also have an indigenous background, Rob? Like, Before
Very,
I,
very small.
Omar,
I'm Iroquois from probably about 5%, but it's in my family, and I'm wildly intrigued with indigenous studies and cultures and mythology, and a lot of what Stephen and Evan Strong have showed me up to this point gave me credence to go back and really look at my own histories and the histories of peoples of America and the native cultures and how they existed, what the similarities were between them and the Aboriginals, and the fact that we can talk about linguistics, we can talk about, the mythology itself shows that there is a common ancestry somewhere. So a lot of what they did helped preface my work forward from that point, and it's been a lot of connections ever since.
so you have 5% Iroquois,
Yes.
but you're saying you're also surrounded more by Native American, other people in your family, or sort of more the culture was infused in you as you grew up a bit.
I do have some people that in my family that are indigenous people, but I think it was more my own fruition that brought me to study these things, and because, like I said, and I keep referencing Stephen and Evan Strong, but because they had a very profound impact on the way I looked at the creation of man and how man came into this yuga cycle from the last one, and how we move, and how there is this grand connection that a lot of the powers that be try and disseminate for us, but it's not the truth of what they're telling us. And I think that once we ultimately create that connection, we'll be able to coexist symbiotically with the planet, with Mother Gaia, and make sure that we take this new future and have a reference for the spiritual, the environmental, and for social lives together, and work to a construct that's going to be harmonious and conducive as opposed to destructive.
That sounds amazing to me. And I guess I didn't quite have your your whole modus operandi, like your raison de being, you know. So I love that. And guys, all of you out in the audience, I want you to do two things. First of all, let us know where you're from, and then let us know how that, if you were privy to watching Humanity Unplugged, what that released for you. Tina Marie had the best statement ever. Like, it really gave her a whole reboot. Tina Marie, if you would put your comment in there, we would love that too. But I'd love to see your comments about so they had a mission, by the way. They were called, they heard that voice, they got a wake up call. We have to do this for humanity. The end result was thousands of hours putting together an event. And now I'm asking you how, now we're breaking down why they did it, but asking its impact on you. And the reason why is that you're being called to stand up, everyone, and to step up. And their process also can impact you. So I'm really excited to find out now more about Omar. And Omar, I adore you. Just having gotten to know you, you have such a consciousness of, I think we're in this together. How can we help each other?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Joan. I feel the same for you. And, I was thinking about your question, and I just realized that this all for me really began like 8 years ago when I first crossed paths with Stephen and Evan. I had no idea at the time. For me, it was like I was just doing a show, and that was it. But then over the course of years, we developed this really beautiful friendship. And 3 years ago, we really kicked it into gear. And I did my first event with them. It was a day event on winter solstice. And going into that, I was aware of the Hopi prophecy and the Aborigine prophecy. So we made a plan at that time, but that plan really, I didn't understand it even at that time. I don't think anybody did. And then last year, we carried forward with the prophecy saying, okay, it's going to be three of these, so this is going to be the second year. So once I did that one, and I came out of it, and then I understood what was happening. And my awareness to it was somehow increased. And I was just sitting here after the event and just chilling and really not having any further thoughts on it. until this coming winter solstice. And then we did the beginning of the year event, the spiritual retreat. And right after that, I was sitting here and I was thinking, and I shot Rob a message just out of humor. And I was like, we should do a big event, a big free event. And he's like, yeah, I'm down. And he's like, so what are you thinking? How many speakers? And I was like about 100, right? Just out of the blue, the number came to me. He's like 100. Holy shit, that's big. And I was like, yeah, but we can do it. He's like, yeah. He goes, okay, let's do it. I'm down. I was like, all right. Even at that point, it wasn't really fully developed in my mind. I don't think it was like fully developed in Rob's mind either. Just joking around back and forth, right? But it was the next morning when I was sitting here and I was listening to some and I was breathing and I, got myself a packed bowl in the morning and sitting there and I was breathing or consciously aware of my thoughts and then suddenly I was just being flashed with the number 11, right? Just the number 11. There was no 111 attached to it, just 11 again and again and again. And then when I'd come out of that, I had to think about that number. So then I messaged Rob, and then I was like, about 111 speakers. And then he's like, oh, I thought it was 100 speakers. And I was like, how about 111? We'll go for a 111. And what's another day to it, right? And then that's how I thought about what's another day. It's going to be 7 days, so 8 days. And even at that time, Dr. Joan, it wasn't like fully comprehended in my mind, because I was thinking 111 speakers, we can cover that in like 7 days, 8 days. And then when I begin to do the math on it, I realized that no, this is going to be like 9, 10 days. And then, I don't know, I guess ego came to me. And then ego was like, why don't you go for the world record, right? There's 120 speakers, and why don't you try and go for 121 or 122 so that you can beat it the next time?
And again, my jaw dropped. Like, what? More?
Yeah. And then I told Rob, and then he's like, what?
All right. You know what? I have to say something. I was blown away when you said 111 speakers. And I went, oh my God. And I found out when I started to pick up speakers and look for speakers. First of all, I was honored that you brought me into it. But then I realized we could have had 1,133
That's
speakers.
right.
There's that many people. We had to curate that in a way. And there's that many people with wisdom to share. So can you say you were like on fire suddenly with your passion, Omar? I want everyone to get when your soul purpose clicks and you suddenly wake up and you get so excited. Like, what happened?
Yeah, the miraculous thing was, Dr. Joan, that right after Rob and I confirmed to each other our plan and how many days it was going to take, it was a matter of like literally 2 days to maybe 3 days. We had 85 speakers confirmed, just like that. Within 2.5 days, we had 85 confirmed. Rob and I were sending each other
astonished.
lists.
We're like, whoa.
Wow.
We can show you the lists, like our messages. We would like, we came up with a concept. We were like, okay, the way to manage this and administer this so that we don't step on ourselves is that once we get a speaker, we put it in our notepad, we copy that, and then I send it to you so that you have a master copy. And then when you add a speaker, you send that, and I copy and paste that into my notepad so the list continues to grow. And that's what we did back and forth for a couple of days. And all of a sudden we had 85 speakers. And then that was with your speakers included when you were messaging and emailing and sending all those speakers. And then you were like, we have to get Kathy Mason involved in this. She's amazing. Yes. And then I was like, yeah, let's do it. Right. So we had a meeting. And then next thing you know, Kathy comes in with like 20, 30 speakers, just boom, 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 right? Like that, just one after the other. And next thing you know, we had more speakers than what we originally intended for. But here's the bizarre part, Dr. Joan, is that after all of the speakers, and the number 11 and 111 was the initial intention for this conference, even though ego stepped in and ego tried to hijack that 111.
Who is
But
ego?
the ego was the lower self of me, right? That was saying, go for the world record, go for the world record. That was the lower emotional, egotistical me. But the way the universe kind of worked it out, and the universe actually spoke to me yesterday, and I'll tell you about it. The way it worked out is, we had all these amazing speakers lined up, and then through the course of the event, many of them couldn't make it because they'd picked up the seasonal flu, and they had the cold, couldn't speak, coughing, right? They were coughing and sore throats and things like that. So a number of them couldn't make it. And then at the end of it all, after the entire thing was said and done with, we had like about 111 speakers who spoke. And then the following day, I went to go check my newsletter to see how many people had signed up for my newsletter, because I hadn't checked. And then once I went in there, and I had 111 people that have signed up for my newsletter, and I stopped and I looked, my spirit, my essence understood what I was looking at, but my brain was having a hard time catching up to my spirit, to my essence of what I was seeing, because what the universe was telling me is that the intention was 111. You had all these cancellations and you still ended up with around 111. Now here's your newsletter to confirm that intention is complete. So here's 111 subscribers to your newsletter. And the hair on my arm was standing up, and I went into our chat room and I mentioned something like that, and I was like, oh my God, the universe just spoke to me, and my spirit caught onto it. But man, my brain had a hard time. But I'm seeing it more, this event, more as like a prep work, when you're working in a kitchen and you're doing prep work. And so for me, all these speakers, this was just a stepping stone to what's actually coming for the rest of 2022, leading up to the winter solstice. Because for the winter solstice, we have a huge ceremony planned, and we have speakers planned that are going to come on, because this is going to be the final year when the magic box Uluru is going to be fully activated. And from that point forward, the timeline is really going to begin to do that elastic band effect, where it's going to go back and forth until it just lets go. And then when that lets go, all the information that we've learned and everything that we've learned this year is going to really come in to play when we go into this new paradigm, because we've learned that we can take consciousness and energy from the ether, from the 0 point, and bring it into our heart. And then from our heart, we can expand it in fruition into whatever we want it to be. And because you're bringing it from the heart, which is, really the symbology of love, then that's what we're going to begin to create with all this information, like astrology and astronomy and zoology, and like all of this is going to matter, because we're going to have to be able to position ourselves in the stars and find out which energy we're working with. And that's going to be very, very, very important. And that's the same thing our ancestors did. And that's something that we want to carry forward and then bring that memory back to life, right? And then that's really what the point of all of these events and interviews and everything that have been happening for the last 3 years is, to bring awareness to that.
So did I understand that you're going to be doing, this is a yearly event. This was our spring equinox. Are we doing a fall equinox as well?
We're
I'm hearing is also in the pot that you feel it's such a powerful energy to ride on that equinox energy of equal day, equal night, in order to, that's the exact way of shifting the timeline then.
Every year I've done events on the equinoxes and solstices. So we did this spring equinox. So the next event that's coming is going to be the summer solstice. And then from the summer solstice, we're going to go to the autumn equinox. And then from the autumn equinox, we're going to go into our winter solstice. Right. So this spring equinox was the annual event that I've been doing for like last 4 or 5 years. And then same with the solstice event. In fact, the solstice event that's coming, to me, it's more important than the equinox event, because my first show ever right, ever was on summer solstice 2016 on Facebook. So my first show ever was on that day, and I designed it for that day, and that was with Steve Meads, and then after that, following year, I would celebrate Watcher's Talk birthday on the summer solstice, and then I've done that every year since then. So every equinox, I like to harness that energy, and especially from this year, because being a year of 222, and I've been resonating with the number 222 for a number of years now because I see it all the time. So much so that it's actually part of my email, that I want to take the energy from this equinox and manifest it so that it becomes stronger and more potent for the summer solstice, and then harness all of that energy from the summer solstice and then take it into the autumn equinox of 222, and then have the energy from the equinox, solstice, equinox, and when we go into the winter solstice, we'll have the entire year's worth of energy to release for the magic box, so that the prophecy can be fulfilled.
And that's not it either. We've got a lot more sprinkled in between those events
Yeah,
too. You
yeah,
know, we're going to be
yeah.
dumping. It's not just those events. There's a lot more coming. And one of the things that I truly love is, one of the first events I ever did with Omar was a Watchers Talk Summer Solstice event. So
Oh,
that's kind of where we got our footing too. There's a lot of great things
Mhm,
happening. And the year of 2022 is the year of the truth seeker, and we are on the precipice of some major changes in society. So I
mhm,
just think it's epic. It's epic what and one of the other things that I like to connect is that I was given to me by my guides a separate mission as well, and that's curating a database for people to always go back to, no matter what instances happen, no matter what happens in the simulation. They can always go back and reference these points of historical context, spiritual teachings, contact, conspiracy. I mean, it's just anything and everything that we've ever might have been lied to or they tried to
mhm.
alter in some way, and
mhm,
that is going to be available to everybody and in many different mediums so that it will never be lost again. And I think that it's important, just like the ancestors put the paintings on the cave walls because they knew rock was the hardest substance. We have to do the same for our legacies moving forward.
mhm.
All right. Well, I love this. Okay. And I had no idea you were doing the equinoxes and the solstices. And I'm really excited, even more excited now, because I felt that that was such a connection of spirit and the planet. Okay.
Mhm.
Like there was a way that you had of, between all these speakers, of activating a 3D reality from the higher consciousness, so that I could feel people just making this transition up to 5D all the time, like with every speaker, there was this kind of shifting. So guys, I want to hear your opinions of this. So are you going to have 122 speakers all the time, or are you going to go for 1,000? Like what is the big plan here?
I
Uh,
think
How much can we
Rob and
post?
I think Rob's frozen again. Rob and I are planning an event for May the 4th, right? So the May the Force be with you, right? And we are looking at bringing on, it's going to be a 1 day event, and we're looking to bring on Indigenous women and just all feminine, and bring them on May 4th, and share that indigenous knowledge, grandmother knowledge with people. And then after that, of course, we have the June one, and I'd like to make the winter solstice, right, something really special, right? You know, I'm not sure it's how, but
Uh-huh.
I'm sure over the course of the year, right, the universe will inspire me. You will inspire me. Rob will inspire me. People that are
Already my
will
mind is like
inspire
going,
me.
ooh.
Maybe
So
like a
yeah,
celebration of the culmination of everything, kind of.
that's right. So I might do, I don't know. Rob and I will have to talk on this one, right? It just seems the universe is connected Rob and I along the way, and I feel comfortable with it, and and I like working with him, and just passing ideas back and forth, right, on what will work, what won't. Sometimes I
Right.
agree, sometimes I don't. Sometimes he agrees, sometimes he doesn't agree. But we come to, a capitulation, I would say. We meet halfway and say, okay, well, you don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. How about we do it like this? And then usually we settle on that, right? So,
It always works out. It
yeah,
always
most
works
of our
out.
ideas are being met halfway, and then we're manifesting those ideas. So I don't know, we could have 100 speakers, or we could do, right, like, I don't know, like 100 days leading up to the solstice.
Wow. He's really putting some big numbers out there. Don't
I
make
don't
no
know,
guarantees yet.
10
Don't say
speakers.
anything yet until you actually check into what you're really going to commit to.
Yeah,
I
exactly,
will
right.
say, I will say this. This is from the Oracle's points of view. Okay. There's going to be a lot of falling apart of things for a few months. It may look dark for some people. It's going to more look like, you shattered a glass and there's lots of pieces to look at. And so you're going to be guided onto what people need as we kind of walk down that path and pick up. You're going to be shown what pieces. So I suspect that we'll be helping to put people back to, putting this new earth in alignment, going forward. These new timelines, there's just new energy coming through by the time the fall happens. So we're going to need all of this work. And however you unfold it, I believe Spirit's going to have a say in it. Actually, you're not unfolding it. That I actually scratch what I said. Your guides are the one very clear on what is coming through, you guys. And I'm so happy to be a part of it. It's just so fun. So does anyone have any question you would like to ask Omar or Rob right now? Because we have them solely focused on their own mindset. So I'm going to ask one more question of both of you. Did you know when you were younger that you would have a sole purpose this big to help humanity? Or did it come to you? Did you step into it? Because a lot of our people, they work day jobs and they don't know. And it's like, I feel like something. Like, did you have a feeling ever like that this would be your life's work?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
Uh,
no.
yeah,
No,
no.
I didn't think I would make it to 18. And then when I was 18, I didn't think I'd make it to 25. And then I was in a sleep state for a long time. And then I woke up once and had, I guess, like a remote viewing experience a couple of times. And then after that, I fell back asleep. And then I woke up again when I met Amy, and then I didn't really you know come to an awareness of what I'm supposed to be doing until like really just a few days ago, right? Like literally, even right now, I'm trying to process that this is what's supposed to be happening, because I look at the events of my life, and then I look at the choices of my life, and then I have to look at the readings that have been done on me by several people. Before, I would knock that off, right? I would be like, nah, that's hocus pocus, I'm not really into that kind of stuff. But now that more of my awareness is raised, and the more I understand the power of the human, I now go back on those readings and I compare that to the choices and the events and things, and then with that in mind, it's only within just the last couple of days that, I'm coming to the awareness that perhaps this is the path
Mm-hmm.
that I've been preparing for. And so now here I am. What to do now? Right? I'm not sure. I'm just carrying out. The way I see it is that I'm just carrying out the will of the universe. I'm sitting in the passenger seat and just reading the map, right? I'm that, backseat driver kind of, so to say, metaphorically, where I'm just reading the map and just administering the map, and that's it, right? Everything else is just happening by itself, right? I have no real power over that. It's just people are coming into my life, and some people are leaving, some people are coming, and others are leaving, and things are happening. And I'm just seeing it as it is what it is, right? And I'm not
Mhm.
really concerned with the outcome, right? I'm more focused on the process of things and just carry out the process and not even be worried about or, postulate on what the outcome is, right?
Well, I love that, Omar. And I love that you didn't actually know, you didn't see it. And the way you describe, because this is important. I know a lot of people come to me and they go, Joan, what's my soul purpose? Why am I here? And also they go, well, you say this is our time, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So you're saying, and then we're going to hear from Rob, that you woke up slowly. You'd have moments of awakening and then you'd go back to sleep. And so spirit had to wake you up a bunch of times to
Mm-hmm.
kind of come and evolve to this big picture that you had the guts and the courage to say, let's bring it on 122 speakers. Did I get that right? That download? Because I
Yeah.
want all of you guys out here to get that download, because no, you're not going to do exactly what Rob and Omar are doing, but you're getting your own downloads. And so what did he do? He said, yes. And how did this happen for you, Rob? Like, did you have any idea about what, yourself, like who you are?
At the time, if you would have asked me, I would have said no. And looking back on where we've come to over the last, I want to say I truly had the transcending moments within the last year and doing what we're doing. And that's one of the reasons why me and Omar work so great together, is because we don't take it from ourselves, we take it from the universe, and we do read that map. And that's the ultimate stimuli that gives us the ability to just read what we think is the right thing, or what we think the right angle is, at least, and let the right thing manifest out of that angle. We really don't even, it's just like when we do these events, there's a flow of energy that we don't even plan. It just tends to happen which way it goes in, because of the way that the event itself plays out. But I know that, and another thing we connect on is our past too. We've both been through some rocky situations in the past. So I think we were exposed to those things to know what I guess the polarity of what we're doing now could potentially be. And maybe that is predestined, and maybe we were supposed to see those things so we could move towards this elevated state now. So, like I said, if you would have asked me at that time, was my life set for something greater, I would have told you no. No, I didn't think I was going to make it past a certain age. It doesn't make a difference. This is not, but now when I look at it, I have to say maybe that was preordained and there was a reason for that. And now, when giving this information above all else, and that's really what we do, is we give the information above all else, above ego, above our containers, above whatever we feel. The information is paramount, and that's really what we're projecting, is the information for everybody to digest and discern, and make sure that that people can understand it and put it in different mediums, so that if we didn't get you this time, maybe we'll get you next time. And it truly is the universe at work. And I think that's one of the reasons why we work so well together, is because we have an understanding of that. We're just the conduits. The universe is just playing the game through us, right? And you know, I still don't think that we've reached our full potential. I think there's more for us to do, but it's ever evolving. Our awakening, like Omar said, just comes in stages. Do we know what we're supposed to do right now? Because tomorrow, whether it's something different or not, we're not even going to perceive what that might be. But we will take it in stride and do our best to achieve what we can with that mindset, and we just work from there. And it really comes together by itself. And one of the best things that I love what me and Omar do is when we start looking at ideas and throwing them back and forth, and how, you know I say something to Omar, he sends it back to me with a little tweak, and now I like it better, or vice versa. And then now it's like, oh wow, we look at what we're doing here. Like this is fun. This is where we get our intentions out into the universe, and it's a lot of fun. It really is. It's crazy. Like we work, but we don't work. We just have a good time together, and we create these events, and just it's not really work because we enjoy it too much. I think, to be
Right.
honest, but
It's like
Yeah.
Jerome says,
So
do
wait.
what you love what you do.
yeah.
So you guys have just confirmed everything that I say. So, when first of all, when my guides told me to paint 33 angels, they deliberately did not show me the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
They had said to me, Joan, you're going to be known as Joan of Angels. You're going to like walk in the room and say wings up, and do your angel thing. I might have run and not done it. So sometimes spirit shows us, step by step by step, and it's in saying the yes. And you guys said yes. And I also see we have two people on here who said yes. And I wonder, I'm going to put a link out if they would like to hop on, Kathy and Stone.
Oh,
Come on,
Kathy.
Stone and Kathy, come on in.
Stone, yeah.
If you want to come on in, and guys, so that invite link is for Stone and Kathy, just because they were part of this amazing experience of okay. And the whole theme I'm getting is how we take our soul purpose, we listen, we act upon it, we unfold a program like this, and then we're creating the new earth. Like, right? Does that that's how it goes. Like, you take your soul purpose, guys, that message you get, and then you start to implement it into action. And so I know that when Omar and Rob came up with the idea, then they reached out to me for some speakers, and then I reached out to Kathy, and Kathy seemed to have brought it home. And so we're going to give them a couple of minutes to see if they actually want to hop into, or give me 5 minutes. She'd scare us. Okay, no one could scare
The cool
us.
thing was, Dr. Joan, that this whole event was painting itself as it was moving forward, and because Stone, the only role that I thought that I'd designated for her was her speaking time, right? That 1 hour of speaking time.
Right?
But somehow, Stone became an integral part of this conference, just through sheer direction of the universe, because the universe was seeing what it needs and how it needs and what energy and all of that. So it was inserting all of that as we were moving forward.
We needed
Right?
some faces.
Like Leanne's energy and Stone's energy and Kathy's energy and your energy and Rob's and mine. It just blended so well that, remember I was saying before, it's like baking a cake. You're not going to know what it's like.
Right.
So at the end, the cake was so good. The cake was so good and so amazing that I chomped on it for the last couple of days. But here's kind of the really cool thing. The day after, when I woke up and I was laying here, I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, cool, the day off, and after a little bit, I just started laughing hysterically, right? I just laughed just really, really hard. And then I would stop. And then a little bit later, I'd begin laughing again, hysterically, really hard, to the point where my stomach would hurt, and I'd tears coming down my eyes. And this happened several times. Like, my cats were sitting here looking at me, and they were like, what in the world are you laughing at? Because nobody was home. I was just here by myself. And I was thinking back on Gary, right? Our last our last speaker, when he was making those sound effects, and I just couldn't get those out of my mind. And then it came to me, right, that it was, I don't know how I knew this, but somehow I come to an awareness of it, that the laughing, because of the amount of information I'd taken in. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
We were brain dead by that time, so we didn't get it.
Yeah, the amount of information we'd taken in, it was all in there. Like, literally, with 3 speakers left, my brain hurt. Like, literally.
Yeah.
And
it was a puddle.
And then the laughing was all of that information being processed. like a gear, like a cogwheel that's moving, and laughter, joyness, and the happiness and the love of it was coming through the conduit of Gary's thoughts in my mind. And as I was laughing, that information would process, and then I would stop laughing until, that information's processed. It would happen again, laugh really, really hard, that information would be processed, and that step repeated itself like 3 times. And that's kind of interesting too, that it was 3 times. And then after that, now I feel like I have the information of all of those speakers in my mind. I can hear every single one,
Just
like
have to access it.
verbatimly. Yeah, like verbatimly. I can hear them. I can just think of a speaker and I know what they were talking about and what they were talking about and how they were talking it, what they delivered, what sounds they made. It's really interesting that actually took place. Now, I don't know if this was taking place before, or it's just simply because I've come to the awareness of it, and now I'm aware that this is happening, and that's how this information is being processed. Kind of weird, because now I'm beginning to remember and see the talks that I did like 5-6 years ago in almost detail of what I was talking about. So it's interesting that some kind of a node within me was activated for me to have like this memory, for me to be able to remember. You're looking awesome,
Connection.
Kathy.
Yeah,
Yes, she is.
Yeah, I love it.
Kathy, for a second. Kathy, here's the question I've been asking everyone. All right.
Okay.
What was awoken in you to, like, your sole purpose in, like, saying yes to this, and sort of, when did you know you were going to do this kind of work? It doesn't have to be a marathon.
Oh, you mean doing the Humanity Unplugged?
Yeah, both Humanity Unplugged and also the soul work that you do. Did you always know you were going to do this kind of work? Did you have an awakening? Like Omar says, his awakening happened in stages. Rob said he had no idea he'd be doing this. I didn't tell you guys, but I knew since I was 30, I'd be doing this. It just took a long time. All right.
I knew I'd do some sort of way to get the new teachers out 21 years ago.
Whoa.
And then I had a spiritually transformative experience 18 years ago that amplified. I was already weird.
Don't use the word weird. Come on. You were already celestial.
Oh, it's here too. The game.
Terrestrial and awake. And okay, so let's just finish up with that, and then we can ask Stone the same question.
Okay. What else would you like me to say? I think I'm done.
No, well, actually, that's it. So you knew your soul purpose.
That was
1 years ago.
You want me to 3 more sentences? I can.
Okay, 3 more sentences. Yeah, exactly 3 more.
Well, my personal life mission is to help as many people wake up to their divinity as possible. So that's what I do. And I saw when you introduced me to this event, it was game on. This is going to help 100,000 or more people wake up.
Wow.
So that's why I jumped in.
And you brought in the ancient grandmothers and the history, and you just like said yes. All right. So Stone, I just met you here online, and I couldn't understand, like, wow, she went from one presentation to every single day. Actually, the middle of the night. I think that you didn't want to sleep. But have you always known about your soul purpose, or like that you were here to help you? Like, tell us about that.
I pretty much think that I was directed to do something like this all my life. It's always been about pressure to tell the truth. I've always told the truth, while everybody else and all the programming and training and my environments, that was opposite to what I was doing. And every single time I came up against something, it was, at the end of the day, it was their perception, their stories, their lies, and I just couldn't understand. I couldn't understand why this was like it was when it didn't sit right with me. None of it sat right with me. So I had to become my own detective and find out, am I missing something? Am I missing a part of this picture? Why am I different than everybody else? And it wasn't so much that I was different. And so I always knew that I was going to be writing or doing presentations on stage, and I've done that. I've done all of that, and I was like, okay, now we're in the next age of computers, and I've always been pulled to do something, but I've never quite had the right uh, platforms or that little push to do it. And then out of nowhere, I bump into Omar and Rob. I watched a bit of their stuff, and yourself and others out there that all came to get together as a collective. And, for me, it was like, wow, I'm only going to, I only set out to be a speaker to start with. And then before I knew it, I'm co-hosting. I didn't know what the hell to do. I've never used any of these applications before. I'm running around in the dark. I'm now, and then when he says, "Oh, you co-host," I'm like, "Okay, well, do you know what the time is?" I'm getting up at 2:30 in the morning to get myself ready for a show that happens in an hour, and then I'm finding I need a bit more time, and it's just, I had to do it, and after doing this prolonged fast, I knew I could do anything, so I just went with the flow. That's it. That's how it's meant to be.
So, Stone, you said yes, and you had been laying, because I'm making this an object lesson for everyone about your soul purpose, because, guys, I'm going to be launching a 4 or 6 week in-person event where we're going to talk about how you do this. And so we're listening right now. I didn't do this on purpose, guys, but it seems to me that Stone had been laying the ground for her soul purpose and her mission, and suddenly there it was. And it was a matter of you saying yes. It's like, oh my God, of course I'm going to show up. So it's that yes, that yes, that yes. And I just really want to acknowledge you, Stone. You were great. You were just amazing. All right. So guys, let's all take a deep breath. We were amazing. Okay. We are, when we say a projection of you, well, this was Omar had this little vision, not so little, and it became this big vision. And now it's going to be, look how it's changed even the speakers' lives, but even some of your lives. And that's what I've been hearing. So I want to, when we say your time is now to all of you guys, it is. Just like Stone, her time is now. Everyone's going to want her to be the co-host of everything right now. And everyone's going to want Kathy and her Indigenous tribe. And certainly they're going to want Rob and Omar. And I'm going to really hope that you're going to want me, but that's the whole thing. So we have a couple more minutes. Does anyone have that? Yeah, let's go around one more time and just say a little bit what's up for you. Doesn't have to be long. What's coming down the pipeline for everyone and how we can engage with you. So we'll start with Omar.
Okay, I will say to follow your intuition.
Yes.
Listen to yourself, and when thoughts are not always going to come to you in a form of language that you understand or in images that you can decipher, but the information and the universe, when it speaks through energy. It's an energetic, emotional language, and you have to learn to acknowledge that emotional, energetic language. And once you do that, that can be your higher self, it could be all of yourselves, or it could be the source, it could be nothing that's speaking to you for you to do something. And once you get that gut feeling, the sixth sense, that feeling of knowing, just do it, right? Don't ponder on it. Don't procrastinate it. Don't make excuses. Just simply put the process at work. Don't worry about the outcome. Just work on the process, because the process is the most important thing, because it's the process that will transform you. The end process, the end goal it's not really all that important. It's just there as a line of sight, and that's it. So for me, what I have coming up, I have the May the Force Be With You event coming up, and I have the June Summer Solstice event coming up, and we have a couple more other events in between there. Going to be doing one-on-one interviews with all of the speakers that were on Humanity Unplugged, and deep, do a deep dive into what they were talking about and what they were teaching, because an hour is usually not all that much of a time to really fully understand and comprehend. So I want to learn more and dig more. So I'm going to upload a video of the speaker one day so everyone can watch it in the premiere. And then the next day, I want to bring that speaker on and do like a couple-hour deep dive, and then do that all the way up to the end of the year. And
Wow.
And really, that's what my goal is, because I want to bring their knowledge and their wisdom, and I want to highlight it. I want to shine a light on it. And like I said, an hour is not really all that long. Like, for instance, the Goldmans, right? They were on for an hour, and an hour is really not all that much time for them to teach what they were teaching. Kiera, same thing, an hour. He's just getting warmed up, right? So I want to, bring them on and
3
really,
weeks
really
and he's getting
understand. Yeah, I want to understand the wisdom that they were trying to teach and continue on, because, Humanity Unplugged just started, right? That was just the launch
This is
of
the
being
first.
unplugged. And now we're going to start doing the hard work, the boots on the ground, taking notes and looking at references and reading books, whatever our, teachers, I like to call them, are telling us and guiding us towards. If they say, hey, you need to read this book, then we have resources that we've shared where you can go and get those books. If you can't afford it, there are places where we showed you that you can download books for free. It's all, it's homework time now, right? So that's really what I'm up to, and doing other things with other people throughout the year, and enjoying them, and living in them, and living in that moment and enjoying it, and raising the awareness and accessing higher consciousness. So that's pretty much it for me.
I love it. I love it. All right. And we're all going to look forward. We have your contact, guys. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, and share Omar out. You're going to want to stay tight with Omar this very night. Okay, Rob.
All right. Well, first thing I wanted to say is just to be 100% upfront is when we put these events on, another one of the reasons we do that is because we like to watch these events. So we put them together because we like them. And we like to watch them. So while it is for everybody, it's also for us a little bit, and that's just being bluntly honest. So,
Right.
one of the things that I think is super important that we need to access right now is the ability to shed programming, to shed these containers of thinking, like Omar was talking about. And I think that when we're able to navigate within these programs, take what we need and create our own program, we're actually going to become this new type of interactive planetary being that's going to be able to be that as symbiotic as we talk about. But what I have coming up is, of course, we have the events coming up, all the ones that Omar said. I have my 2nd year anniversary sometime in July.
Mm-hmm.
We're currently working on a ton of presentations because Omar's right. Now it's time to do the homework and to put out what I can on what I kind of know, and then from there we'll also have other people doing those presentations as well. So we've kind of focused on interviewing the personal aspect of people. Now it's time for the information. We're going to go for the information, information above everything. I'm going to open up a way for people to access that database that I was talking about. So whatever I have at my disposal is at your disposal with the touch of a button. And hopefully by the end of this year, I'll have the first book written, and we'll be off to the races from there. And, when we get to that next step, we'll have to do this again to, come together and figure out what is forward for us.
Gotcha.
Now that we're here and now that we've passed that veil, what do we do? And that's kind of what I'm focusing on, because while we're not looking in the future, we're focusing on the information. Being ready for those moments with that information is going to be ultimately, my goal.
All right. Very, very exciting, guys. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to Rob's channel and the Substack channel as well. And you are getting, just so you know, you're getting a PhD in consciousness raising into the new earth, and it's free. So I don't know. I think next year we're going to have the advanced PhD doctoral thesis program coming up, and you won't understand it if you don't stay current, honestly. All right. And so now, Kathy,
that's when we put Dan Winter into the mix.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the next level stuff right there.
It is. And while we're talking, Tina Marie, if you could put on the ET races, planets, and technology that's happening this weekend, I'd love that if you can put it in the chat, and then I will show it out in a minute. Because this is an event happening Saturday. So yeah, even though we're evergreen forever. All right, Kathy Mason.
Yeah.
I adore you. You did so amazing. You just said yes. Actually, I didn't tell you, Omar. She actually asked several times to do it. I just made her wait a day. Okay, tell us what you're up to now.
Okay, I have a show called Conscious Business Zone that I have been doing for 3 years. I do it twice a week. I do it on Tuesday and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And it's right now working on getting my YouTube channel all cleaned up because Facebook's harder to find. Let's see, I am launching some amazing people publishing books. Got 3 books that we're working on right now for people. So just and I get to be in a couple more events. I get to be on your show on Monday and something in April. Then there's World Unity Week in I think it's in June. So I'm always doing something.
I love it. And we need that. And that's your way of taking your soul work and putting it out into the universe for all of us. And, for content creator and book writers, having people who showcase them and navigates that world of marketing is amazing. Yeah. So I love Kathy, everyone. She has done a lot for me and my own soul purpose. All right, Stone Hobbit. Tell us what you're going to be up to in the next few months. Now that you got your grand launch here on Humanity Unplugged.
Yeah, totally unexpected, totally accepted.
Gotcha.
Well, I've got a lot of presentations to put together because there's so many different, there's a diverse amount of topics there. So I've already started work on that. So I haven't really gotten to sleep yet. And I'm going to put my material out there now. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to stop us from holding back. All the tears are basically gone now, and it's time to, illuminate. And I've always been that way. So now I accept it. I acknowledge it. And it's about encouraging others out there to get out there and share their information. I stand for tea time, transparency, exposure, and accountability. This is acknowledging yourself. This is acknowledging your journey. And this is what I'm endeavoring to do with getting out there and doing more live feeds and all over the place. So I'm Stone Hobbit of the Hearth Fire, the hearth being the heart, the center point. And this is where we're going to come from. We're coming from the center point now, and that's what I'm endeavoring to do. So there's a lot of conferences coming up. I don't know where I'm going to appear. This is just how it is. I just am there or I'm not.
Stone Hobbit everywhere.
And that is, listen, there's a Hobbit under every rock, isn't there?
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're a magical woman. I'm so happy that I got to meet you. So, guys, we have had the best. So I guess I should tell everyone how you can engage with me too. But I have an event happening. I'm co-producing some events with Neil Gar at Portal to Ascension. Very exciting. So Neil and I have tomorrow, yes, ET Races, Planets, and Technologies. We have in April coming up a 3-day free online event, and it's followed on that Monday, April 18th. And I'm going to be doing an online live intuition class for Portal to Ascension. And you know how I feel about intuition as your superpower. So you're going to want to join us on that. So I have that coming up. And I'm already planning some new angelic angel brigade events. You're going to look for that, guys. And I'm planning to be, I don't know, speaking everywhere and being asked to speak everywhere. That is my mission this year, to help wake you up. And I also have my new event that I'm starting to put together on I think our in-person, like, let's brainstorm your soul purpose with your tribe. Doesn't that sound good? Let's really help you get to the point where you can step into your destiny, like in one weekend, just like Stone did this week, 10 days to your destiny. I think that's great. All right, guys. So I'm Joan of Angels. Check me out. Go to joanofangels.com. Get your Soul-Filled Purpose ebook. It's a great ebook, and so are the whole series. Check out each and every one of these people. They are a whole life. I mean, you could spend your whole life on YouTube watching all of us. And Kathy, my dear friend, and Rob and Omar, we want to thank Tina Marie in the back room, and we will see you all on the next episode of Step Into the Miraculous. Mwah! Love you all.
Thank you,
Love
Dr.
you all.
Joan. Thank you,
Thank you,
Tina.
Joan. Thank you, Tina.
Love all
Bye.
of you.
Thank you, Kathy Stone, Dr. Joan. Love you all.
We'll do it again. Love you guys.
Bye. Love you.
Just to play. Love you all. Guys, check them all out.